They say grief does strange things to the mind. Hallucinations, night terrors, loops of memories so vivid you forget what's real. But what happened to me was different. My name is Ethan. I'm 27. It's been 1 month since I buried the love of my life, Lily. She died in a car crash on a rainy Tuesday, just a few blocks from my apartment. I wasn't with her. That fact still rips me apart every morning. For the first couple of weeks, I didn't speak to anyone. I didn't eat much. I didn't shower. I didn't live, not really. Just scrolled through her old chats, rereading her messages like they could stitch my heart back together. But they never did. And then came the message. It was a Friday night, 2:41 a.m. I was half asleep on the couch, wrapped in a hoodie that still smelled like her shampoo. My phone buzzed once. When I saw the name on the screen, my blood turned to ice. Lily Blackheart. I didn't move for several seconds. Just stared. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. With trembling hands, I unlocked the screen. Lily, Ethan, I want to talk. My mind scrambled for logic. Was it someone playing a sick joke? A hacker? Did the account somehow stay active? No, that didn't make sense. Her number had been disconnected. I saw the casket. I lowered it into the ground. I sat up, still staring at the message. And then it happened again. Lily, open the door. I'm here. My blood chilled. My skin broke out in goosebumps. I got up, every step toward the door, feeling like I was wading into a nightmare. I gripped the handle. My breath stopped, and I opened it. At first, I thought it was no one. Then I saw it. Her. Lily stood at the threshold, or something that looked like her. She was thin, too thin. Her eyes were wide and unblinking. Her skin was pale, translucent almost, like her face was lit from within by something cold and distant. She smiled. Not a warm smile. A memory of one. My knees buckled. Lily, I whispered. She said nothing. Just stepped inside, her feet silent on the wooden floor. And though I was shaking, I didn't run. Because somewhere, beneath the fear and confusion, I wanted her to be real. I don't know why I let her stay. Maybe it was shock. Maybe it was denial. Or maybe it was something deeper, the desperate part of me that would give anything just to have one more day with her. And that's what I got. A day. With Lily. But not the Lily I remembered. She didn't blink. Didn't eat. Didn't cast a shadow in the morning light. But she smiled. She laughed. She spoke. Remember this? She said, running her fingers over a framed photo of us at the lake. I nodded. But the thing was, I didn't. She kept bringing up things, memories, stories, tiny details that I should have known. Places we'd supposedly been. Conversations we'd supposedly had. Ethan, she whispered at one point, don't you remember the red notebook? The one I kept under your bed. I shook my head. Lily, you never had a red notebook. She frowned. Not sad. Almost disappointed. You're forgetting too much. That's not good. Then she smiled again and brushed her cold hand along my jawline. And I let her. We went for a walk in the park later. The same one where I had proposed to her last spring. From a distance, it must have looked insane, a man walking and talking to no one. But to me, she was right there, holding my hand, her touch like snow against my skin. Birds flew overhead. The sun peeked between clouds. And the whole time, my phone buzzed in my pocket, one message after another. Lily, I missed this bench. Lily, look, the tree we carved our initials into. Lily, you look tired. Don't forget to rest. Her messages came exactly in sync with her voice. Word for word. Second for second. Not a delay. Not a single typo. And even stranger, they didn't appear on the messaging app one normally used. They came through some hidden folder buried inside my system logs. And every time I tried to open one directly, the phone glitched. Just a flicker, a hiss of static. Then it returned to normal. When we got back home that night, she curled up on the couch and stared at me. Eyes wide, smile unwavering. You're not afraid anymore, she said. I shook my head slowly. I should be. You will be, she whispered. And then, like a light switching off, she was gone. The next morning, I half convinced myself it had been a dream. The kind of vivid hallucination grief can conjure when you're on the edge. But when I looked at my phone, the messages were still there. Lily, thanks for yesterday. Lily, I feel closer to you now. The timestamps matched everything. Everything we did. Everything she said. Even the moment she vanished. I didn't know how to process that. Later that afternoon, I met up with my old friend Kevin for coffee. We hadn't seen each other since the funeral. I told myself I needed to reconnect with the living. As we sat outside the cafe, Lily sat next to me. Her hand brushed mine on the table. I flinched. Kevin blinked at me. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said quickly. "Just cold hand." He tilted his head. "You mean your hand?" I paused. Lily looked at me, smiling. "He can't see me." "What?" I muttered, nearly dropping my cup. Kevin raised an eyebrow. "What?" "Nothing," I lied. "Just talking to—" I froze. Kevin leaned back in his chair. "Dude, are you talking to Lily again?" The way he said, "again," made me realize I'd been doing this more than I thought. Maybe in public. Maybe out loud. "I know it sounds crazy," I mumbled. Kevin's tone shifted. Softer. "Ethan, she's gone. You don't have to do this to yourself." I wanted to scream. She was right there. I went home shaken. That night, I set up my webcam to record the living room. If this was real, I needed proof. If it wasn't, maybe I needed help. I sat across from Lily, talking, asking questions, laughing. She responded. She touched my arm. She whispered my name. The recording ran for 2 hours. When I played it back, I was alone. No Lily. Just me. Talking to nothing. Reaching out to empty air. Laughing by myself. The worst part? There was a moment. A brief frame skip around the 46-minute mark. The camera glitched. And in that frozen glitch for a single frame, I saw her reflection behind me in the mirror. Mouth wide open. Screaming. After the recording, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying that single frame. Her face, frozen in a scream, warped by static. She had never screamed while we spoke. Not once. But the reflection had. And it wasn't fear I saw in her eyes. It was rage. I needed answers. So I turned to the one thing that connected me to her. My phone. The messages hadn't stopped. "Lily, don't look too deep. Lily, just be with me." I ignored her warnings. I opened my phone's diagnostics, looked at the message logs, and found something impossible. The messages weren't coming through any app one had installed. Not iMessage, not WhatsApp, not anything. They were being logged through something called ThreadZero, a hidden module buried in the system's backend, not accessible without jailbreaking. And the metadata said the sender ID was null. Not zero, not unknown, just void. I called my mobile provider, asked them to trace the number I'd saved as Lily. After 10 minutes on hold, the rep came back, sounding confused. "There's no such number in the system," he said. "What do you mean?" "It was disconnected 32 days ago. We wiped the account. Nothing can be sent or received. But I'm getting messages. I can forward them to you." "No, sir," he said. "What I mean is, that number doesn't exist anymore. Not in any database. It's not even reserved." I hung up, and that's when the phone buzzed again. "Lily, you shouldn't have done that." My hands went cold. I opened the front-facing camera to check myself. Something in me panicked, like I expected to see something else in my reflection. I looked normal, until I blinked. For half a second, I saw another face flicker over mine. Her face. Mouth open. Eyes hollow. Right behind my eyes. And then it was gone. I stopped replying to her messages. For days, I muted every notification, shoved the phone in a drawer, and tried to return to something like normal. I forced myself to go outside, to talk to people, to sleep without checking the lock on the front door 5 times. But silence didn't stop her. The phone still vibrated. From inside the drawer, from under my pillow, once from the glove compartment in my car, even though I'd left it at home. And every time I pulled it out, the same message would be waiting. "Lily, please don't forget me." But I knew now it wasn't her. Not really. I started doing research. Desperate, obsessive research. I looked into ghost tech forums, obscure Reddit threads, darknet posts from people who claimed to talk to the dead through machines. One phrase came up again and again. Nether thread. A digital tether between our world and something that shouldn't have access. A line that, once opened, lets anything talk if it knows your grief. Most said it was a myth. Some weren't so sure. One message stood out, from a user named No More Echoes, dated 2013. They use the voices of the ones you miss. They learn them. They mimic. But they're not them. If you talk back long enough it becomes a doorway. I hadn't just talked. I let her in. I went back through our chats from before she died. I needed to anchor myself in what was real, what she actually said. But I noticed something wrong. I couldn't find her old messages. Only new ones. Only the ones after she came back. And then something even worse. I checked the photos in my gallery. Pictures of us together, the ones I clung to. In every photo, her face had changed. Eyes darker. Smile too wide. Fingers thinner. Like she'd been replaced. Even the earliest photos, ones from years ago, something had rewritten my memories. My proof. It had been inside my phone. That night, she appeared again, not at the door, but already inside the apartment, just standing in the hallway, watching. Her voice echoed in my head before her mouth even moved. "You let me in, Ethan," she whispered. "That was love. This is forever. Something's wrong with my mind. It's not just the phone anymore. It's me." The other night, I woke up standing in the kitchen, barefoot, holding my phone, camera app open, pointed at the empty hallway. I don't remember getting up. Worse, I found pictures in my gallery I didn't take. Photos of me, sleeping, dozens of them, all from angles above my bed, like someone had stood on the ceiling, looking down. In one, there's a sliver of a face at the edge of the frame. White eyes, a smile carved into shadow. I dropped the phone. I should have smashed it, but I didn't. I can't explain why. The days blur now. I forget small things, what I ate, what day it is, my coworkers' names. But I remember her, or what I thought was her. She's in the apartment more often now, not just at night. Sometimes I catch her sitting on the edge of my bathtub, humming. Other times she's by the window, staring at something I can't see. Once, I found her asleep on the ceiling, head twisted backward, mouth open like she was mid-scream, but completely silent. I screamed instead. She never moved. I went back to Kevin, begged him to help me. We sat in his garage. I showed him the phone, the messages, the photos. He scrolled through them silently, then paled. "Ethan, these are all blank." "What?" He turned the screen toward me. The chat was empty. The gallery wiped. No messages. No photos. Just a perfectly clean device. I snatched it back. Everything was still there. Kevin looked at me like I was losing my mind. And maybe I am. Before I left, he pulled me aside. "Man, I'm worried about you. You've been different since the funeral. Distant. Paranoid. Like you're chasing something no one else can see." "She's real," I whispered. He nodded slowly. "I know. That's what makes it worse." That night, as I sat on my bed staring at my phone, another message came through. "Lily, he's in the way." I didn't respond. Not to her. Not to anyone. But the moment I read that message, "He's in the way," I knew exactly who she meant. Kevin. She saw him as a threat. Because he didn't see her. Because he made me question her. I wanted to believe that was all it meant, that it was just a warning, just manipulation. But something deeper in me, something that felt less like me and more like her, whispered a different word. "Eliminate." I threw the phone across the room. It landed face down on the floor, and still I saw the screen light up. A video began playing on its own. No app open. No notification. Just a grainy recording of Kevin's garage, taken from a corner like a security feed. And in the middle of the frame, Kevin talking. Alone. Then, the lights flickered. In the shadows behind him, a shape emerged. Her. Pale limbs, head twitching. No feet touching the ground. She hovered behind him, and even though I knew it was just a video, I shouted at the screen, "Kevin, run." He didn't move. And then she leaned close, inches from his ear, and whispered something. He shuddered, looked around, said my name out loud, and the video ended. I grabbed my car keys and drove straight to his house. No answer at the door. No lights. I pounded on the door, called his name. No response. Finally, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned. It was Kevin, standing outside the gate. He looked pale, sweating. He opened his mouth to speak, but before he said a word, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I didn't want to look. I knew I shouldn't, but I did. "Lily, he's already forgetting you." I looked back up. Kevin stared at me like I was a stranger. "Sorry," he said slowly. "Do I know you?" Kevin didn't recognize me. Not even a flicker of familiarity. I stood there, stunned, watching him back away like I was a solicitor or a threat. "Kevin," I said, voice shaking. We've been friends since college. You helped me pick out the ring for Lily. We built your garage shelves together." He just shook his head slowly, like he was pitying me. Then he said, "You need to go, man. Please." And he closed the gate. My knees felt weak, my breath ragged. It wasn't just that she got to him. She was erasing me. That night, back in my apartment, I powered off the phone. Battery out. SIM removed. I even put in a drawer, wrapped in aluminum foil, like the conspiracy forums suggested. No connection. No signal. But at exactly 3:03 a.m., I woke up to the screen glowing. It was on, and it was showing me a room I'd never seen before, through the camera. A blood-red glow. No windows. Cracked white tile. A door in the center of the far wall, painted the same deep crimson. The image trembled, and then the door opened, just a crack. My breath caught. From the crack, something slithered through. Not quite a hand, not quite a claw. Just fingers that bent the wrong way. Searching. Then the phone buzzed. "Lily, it's open now." The screen flickered violently, then shut off by itself. I stayed awake till sunrise. When light finally poured in, I ran to the drawer to destroy the phone. It was gone. The drawer was empty. But on the mirror, written in something dark and sticky, were 6 words. "You took too long to answer." The mirror was clean by morning. No writing. No blood. Nothing. I stood there, toothbrush hanging from my mouth, trying to convince myself I'd imagined it. But the space beneath my fingernails still had something dark and dry caked in the corners. That wasn't toothpaste. The apartment felt different now. Heavier. Like the walls were listening. Every time I passed the hallway, I noticed something out of place. A draft where there shouldn't be one. A creak behind the wall. Then I saw it behind the coat rack. A thin seam in the drywall I had never noticed before. My stomach turned. I pushed the rack aside and ran my fingers along the edge. It was cold. Too cold. And when I pressed in, it clicked. A square panel of the wall shifted inward, revealing a door. The same one I saw in the phone video. Painted dark red. No handle. No hinges. Just waiting. I stepped back. Everything in me screamed not to touch it. And then I heard her voice, not from my phone, not in my head, but behind the door. "Ethan, you said you loved me." I backed away, shaking. Whispers now filled the apartment like air. I grabbed a hammer from the kitchen drawer and started smashing the door frame, the drywall, the seams. Plaster flew. Wood cracked. And then I hit something softer. Not wood. Not plaster. It felt like skin. The hammer thudded into it. It moved. A hiss, wet and rattling, came through the hole. I dropped the hammer and ran to the front door. But when I flung it open, the hallway of my building was gone. There was only the red room from my dream. Tiles. Silence. A crimson door at the end. And something dragging across the floor. Slow. Heavy. Coming toward me. My phone buzzed in my pocket, though I hadn't seen it in days. "Lily, come in. You're almost ready. I want to run." But my feet didn't move. The red room swallowed me whole. The door I saw in the video in the apartment wasn't a door at all. It was a gateway. Something old. Something hungry. Behind it waited the truth. I stepped forward, heart hammering, breath shallow. The thing in the shadows stepped into the light. It looked like Lily, but not her. Its eyes were empty holes. Its smile was a jagged slash. I raised my phone, trembling, hoping to capture it. But the screen went black. And then she was there. "Ethan," she whispered. "You let me in. Now you're mine." I tried to scream, but no sound came out. The last thing I saw was her hand reaching for me, cold as death. I don't know if anyone will ever read this. If this is my last message or a warning. My phone still shows her typing. But she never sends. Sometimes I think she's still waiting, watching, whispering. And sometimes I hear her voice, close, cold, eternal. "I'm here."